Okay, so this replay is going to be for Ronick. We're going to watch his game in this game, his game in this game. That's a good start. We're going to watch his play in this game. And in this game, you had a pretty big lead over your lane, and we're going to talk about how maybe could have exploited it a little bit more. Obviously, this game ended up being pretty hard because of our mid laners' inability to do anything really. But there's definitely opportunities you're going to see in this replay where could have done something a little bit better. So we're just going to fast forward all this early stuff. So we'll just get right to the laning phase. So most of the stuff's going to be like mid-game choices more than like actual laning stuff because you guys win this lane pretty hard. Um, so pressuring the lane out, we're actually going to watch it just from our view. So we're not going to see anything that we're just going to watch what you can see right now. So you're pressuring really hard. You know the jungler's probably not bot because he's got to be top. He's got to be around top side jungle at this point. So we're just watching. You guys are pushing. I would say now would probably be a good time to start warding. So that's exactly what you do. So real smart. Like I said, most of this stuff is just going to be decision making mid to late game, getting caught out, stuff like that. So doing a pretty good job. And even this game, I didn't think you made too many mistakes, but there were definitely a couple things. One decision that you made kind of fairly early on in the game that made me think, why would you do that? So we're actually not going to be too far away from it. So we're still pushing. We don't know where their jungler is. We have good wards top, so we know he's not top side. So that should concern you a little bit. The fact that we have a ton of vision top and their jungler isn't top, so there you go. So exactly, that's when you get another ward out. I get first blood. Then we see Wukong top, so you guys are perfectly fine. You literally don't have to worry. Just pushing, 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 pushing. More Kate. Good stuff. Getting some poke. Push, 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 push. Obviously, this is the boring part, but we're going to get to something real specific soon that we're going to have to talk about. Um, so Morg's backing. You push another wave. Okay, so we're getting to this point here. You guys push in this wave. You push it on a cannon. So Morgana's going to back here. Okay, so if this was me, I would have backed right here because I know for a fact between ambient gold and the 45 CS that you have enough for a BF sword. If you don't have exactly enough for a BF sword, you're literally like 15, 20 gold off. This is your time to back. You've accrued a 25 CS lead over this Vayne. It's Vayne Nami. They can't push this hard enough to deny you anything if you back right now. This is when you back. If you stay in lane right now, you're effectively saying that you don't want to use this 25 CS gold lead and all the pressure you've allowed yourself by pushing in constantly. This is really greedy to not back right now. You can't pressure her if you have the same items. Like eventually, if you guys just stay on the same items for like an extended period of time, your lead is irrelevant. So this is something that Devo does a lot where he doesn't back when he has an opportunity to back. I've already backed twice this game. I backed, TP'd back, killed my lane, backed it, pushed the lane, backed again, grabbed another item, because that's how you scale with a lane. Like I'm actually not doing that well. I'm a little bit behind. But that's how you scale with a lane is you have to back and buy items when you're allowed to. So then you can further your lead and try to fight. So I know you can buy a BF sword right now. They won't show me the gold in here, but we can assume at 6 minutes with 45 CS, ambient gold included, you can get a BF sword right now. There's no way you can't. So you staying here is a mistake. Morgana's backing, that's your clue to back as well. So let's see what you do. So if you had backed, you would have already bought and been walking back to lane right now. So we're gonna watch Morgana, and where Morgana is gonna indicate to you where you would have been if you hadn't done this. So so you get chunked out. So there's no reason to really be here right now. But anyway, Morgana gets back here before the wave. Even if you weren't here, the wave would have been right here. It would have just been hitting your turret. So the reason why this is important is because if you backed and you came back with the BF sword right when the wave was crashing to your turret, one, you would have only missed like 4 or 5 CS, but two, you would have been in a position where you're infinitely stronger than Vayne. You have a BF sword to Endurance Blade. And since you're Caitlyn Morgana, you could either push that wave because she weakly got it into turret because Nami and Vayne don't push very fast. You would have gotten it here. You would have had the option to either freeze on them, force them to back, and or zone them off the wave if they're dumb enough to stay, or you could have pushed it so hard and made it so Vayne couldn't back, and you would have been able to start harassing her under turret with the BF sword. And how's a jungler gonna gank you when you're a BF sword Kate versus a Doran's Blade Vayne who's getting constantly pushed under turret? So I think that's a huge mistake to not back when Morgana backed. You had the gold value. Your lead right now means absolutely nothing. This lead in CS means nothing. You didn't translate it into anything because you didn't back when you could have. So and then you blow heal. I don't know why you blow heal. Maybe that was just a misclick, I guess. But now your lead is irrelevant right now because you didn't back. You didn't back in time. So that's the biggest. I actually think that's the biggest mistake to snowballing your lead. Pressuring the lane doesn't mean just sitting in lane the entire time. It means being stronger than the enemy laner. And yeah, you're stronger than her, but imagine how much stronger you would have been if you got a BF sword and she was stuck in lane with a Doran's Blade. It would have been the same scenario, but you would have had a BF sword right now, which makes it really difficult for their jungler to gank you and makes it really hard for them to win like a 2v3. But anyway, but you don't do that. So we're going to just keep watching. We're just going to keep watching you. So we're looking around. We don't see the jungler right now, so he could be bot. You don't know. But there he is. He's bot. You have a 37 CS lead that means absolutely nothing because you didn't back. You didn't accelerate your lead by backing at the appropriate time, getting an item spike, and then coming back and pressuring her. If you had came back to lane with the BF sword, you could have either frozen it, pushed it on her, forced her to back, and lose minions under turret. Because the amount of abuse you're putting on her right now with just the D-Blade, imagine if that was a BF sword. She would be dead, or she'd be back, or all of her summoners would be gone. So I really think that was a bit of a mistake to play it the way you did and just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to pressure lane by never leaving lane. Well, no, that's not. You had a chance to pressure the lane more by leaving and then coming back and being way stronger. The person who gets the first back is usually the person dictating the lane, and you kind of gave up that right. So now this Wukong does some really funky stuff. He could have flashed on you actually and just gotten like maybe your flash, but I don't know what he's doing. But either way, imagine if he had ganked and you had a BF sword. He probably wouldn't have even ganked. There's no way they'd win. So anyway, so this Vayne, even though she's getting denied CS, she hasn't been killed because you didn't, really pressure her hard enough because you didn't buy when you could have. Now you go still pushing the turret. I'm not sure why. It seems like you're really fixated on getting this turret first, which you would have been able to do, possibly, if you had gotten a BF sword 4 minutes ago. Imagine how much chip damage you would have gotten on this turret. This turret probably be gone by now. If you had backed 4 minutes ago, gotten a BF sword, and then started pushing a Vayne in that hadn't been able to back yet because you got to the wave soon enough to push it in and keep her under turret with a D-Blade and you have a BF sword, you would have killed this turret by now. But for whatever reason you stayed in lane. I think that's a pretty big Pretty big mistake there. Anyway, so now you finally back. You get your BF sword. Now we're looking okay now. But this is a item you could have had a lot sooner. You could have been pressuring your lane a lot harder. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this. So we don't see Wukong. We know his ult's probably back up again. So okay, so we just saw Wukong top, and Morgana just wasted ult. So a lot of stuff that happens this game is kind of like, I think Morgana was a fill player that got stuck as support, and she's not normally a support player. So actually, we're gonna watch this again. So um, we saw Wukong top. He was top trying to gank me. Graves starts the jungle. This is the Graves starting the jungle that you said, like, he didn't actually start it. He was just in there clearing a ward or whatever. He's just trying to do it. And mids at our turret, you guys, their lane's gone. You guys could easily walk over here and help this guy. But instead, this guy this guy has to flash, blow all his shit. You know these two are at the turret, and he had to blow his flash for no reason because nobody helped him. That's just an unfortunate thing, but that's something that we saw happening. We saw Wukong was top. Now Wukong's bot again. So that could have been something that you guys could have pressured, knowing that their bot lane is weaker than you at the moment. But you didn't help him, which is fine. Pushing your lane, you still have a big CS lead, but just imagine how much harder you would have won lane if you just backed at the appropriate times to get item spikes. I think you would have been in a much better spot. So we know Wukong's bot. I think this fight ends up working out for you guys, just because Vayne didn't start BF and she's super, super weak. So I'm pretty sure this ends up being like a decent fight for you. So we know Wukong's coming. We just saw Wukong here clearing a crab. So he has two options. He can either gank the mid that's almost all the way back at our turret, or he can gank you guys. So obviously he's going to gank you guys. You tunnel so hard for this Nami kill. What does the Nami kill do for you? If you know Wukong's coming because you saw him on a ward, maybe you weren't paying attention, but you're gonna die essentially 2v2, and you get killed by Vayne in a 2v2 because Wukong didn't do damage to either of you. So you guys died 2v2. Vayne for the support. So Vayne gets to kill you. I think that's just a really bad trade. It's a trade you didn't need to take. You did not need to tunnel this hard for this Nami kill. Kills are nice, but you did not need to tunnel this hard. Especially since you know that your jungler like went to go do golems, like he was out of here, and you knew Wukong was walking down. So this ends up working out because these guys are just absolute morons. I'm pretty sure this ends up working out. No, never mind. Wait, I could have sworn people died there. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, so these guys end up dying because these guys are bad, but you guys really do seem fixated on getting this turret, so finally get it, and you guys kill those two. Nami could have killed this guy, but she just stopped autoing him, and then I think, do you get this kill? I think you do. I think you do get this kill. But so we're pretty much done with the mistakes I feel like you made in lane. But okay, so the big thing though is backing at the appropriate time. You could have had a BF sword on this guy, but you just didn't back at the right time. And you still have a lead, but imagine how much bigger that lead could have been. And then on top of that, you just kind of tunnel visioned on the Nami. You really wanted that turret. There's just a lot of things that could have gone better. I guarantee you that if you had gotten a BF sword at the 6-minute mark, when you could have bought it, you would have taken that turret first. There's no way. There's no way you wouldn't have. Because if Wukong ganked, you guys would have won the 2v3. Because Vayne wouldn't have been able to back yet, or if she had back, she would have been significantly behind you. She would have been able to buy a Zeal because she was super far behind in farm. So she would have only been able to get like maybe a couple daggers, like, or maybe boots. Like that's it. Or maybe a Cole. Maybe she would have went Cole instead. But I mean, her build's bad to begin with, but I think you guys really could have pressured that more. So I like what you did. You rotated mid. I think that's the smart thing to do. Then you rotate back bot. You get all this farm. I think this is smart. I think Morgana coming with you though is unnecessary. And this Morgana is going to do a lot of things this game that I think are unnecessary. So we're going to watch a little bit more. We're going to push this wave. And then we're going to walk. Okay, you guys are going to back. That's cool. Nami's bot, you're going to walk back mid. We're doing good things. I think right now the decision making's okay. We rotate top. We think maybe we can get this turret, but never mind. Wukong comes up here. That's unfortunate. Morgana shouldn't be the only one down here. Graves should have been down there a lot sooner. I think that's Graves' fault, not Morgana's fault, or not our fault. But also, Morgana could have just came top or went mid and helped Cat and just ignore the turret. It's just a turret. It's not like the end of the world. Turrets don't mean that much. We're actually winning right now. Turrets aren't like the biggest thing ever. So Cat almost dies. We know top's missing. We know Wukong was just top. So this is about to be super bad place for you to be in. So this stuff is kind of top's missing. Jungler was just top. He's also missing. Nami's mid. So we know at least 2 people are mid, potentially 4 people. Potentially 4. So I think being this far up, when potentially 4 people are up and we have no vision of the top side where we knew they were last seen over here, is a pretty bold place to be. So you just get crushed and die. Like, that's not even... I mean, I remember you saying in the game, you were like, oh, well, I just can't do anything versus Trundle. You just got caught out. I mean, that had nothing to do with Trundle being broken or anything. That's just you getting caught out, unfortunately. So, Cat can't help you. You had no vision of this top side, and I was pinging that entire time, like, hey, we just saw them. So, they were both just top. We have no vision on the top side jungle. You guys should probably relax a little bit. So I end up having a TP here, and we end up fighting. So let's see where you are right now. So you're still dead. So we'll just watch this fight. While you're dead. So we end up Cat's just not doing anything. We almost win this. Say we went 3 for 2, because you died already, so it's like 3 for 2, so that's not too bad of a fight. But so let's go back to, so you go bot to push it out. It's cool. Good job. I really don't think you made that many mistakes this game. It was just, there were just a few missed opportunities, but it was greatly compounded by our mid being super weak and our support not playing like a support player. So this is one that is kind of iffy to me, this decision making here. So luckily Lux is in base, so this isn't as bad as it looks. Cat's backing. Trundle's top. You know Nami was walking up. You saw her on a ward. You have no idea where Wukong is. You actually have no idea where Lux is. You're completely alone here. You are a 1200 health 80 carry that gets one shot by 4 people on their team. And you're alone here. If Lux was over here, like if she was already walking back and she just flanked you, you 100% die here. Or if Wukong just went down this way and got behind you, you die. Because you would have just seen him here, barely on this ward, he would have already been behind you. You blow both your sums for this. Luckily, Nami's terrible. But then, as you see, Lux is going to walk up here in a second. If Lux was just back here a little bit sooner, she would have just murdered you. Like, you would have just died for free. So now we know top's missing again. You should have blue trinket already. When you died at level 9 and were in base dead while we were fighting, you should have been like buying blue trinkets. So just my opinion, we already have 3 blue trinkets. You do not have one. You're the one person that should already have it. So that's kind of a little questionable. But anyway, so we're just going to watch this a little bit. So now we see where everybody is. So this right here is just not respecting skill shots, I guess. They're all grouped mid minus as far as we can see. No, even Wukong's there. So literally everybody's there. All 5 people are mid, and you walk. You just get hit right with a binding and get one shot. Luckily, you don't die. Miraculously, you don't die. But that was, I mean, they should get the turret off of this, but that was just a pretty bad place to be standing. So anyway, we're just gonna watch this a little bit more. We're gonna watch like it's really not too much. It's just little things like positioning arrows, and I think the early game decision not to back was just like something that you could infinitely fix your early game if you just didn't do that. Like I think you would have hard stomped this lane if you just took the back timing and used it appropriately. So we're gonna fight this one. Everybody's flashing. You get that kill, it's good. We're chasing. They all blow their flashes because they're scared of me. Okay, so then we get the dragon. It's really cool. You rotate mid. You had no idea. You have no vision up here, so maybe this isn't the safest place to walk. You know Lux didn't die, and she still had like 80% health. So fortunately for you, Lux misses this Q that you weren't trying to dodge. but you would have died there, and if she had flash, you would have died. If you got hit by that, you would have died. So that's unfortunate. That's like a scary thing that happened there. So once again, really lucky. You're playing so dangerously right now. Like if you get hit by anything right now, you die. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's really worth playing this boldly. I mean, you've already got hit by a lot of skill shots this game, so like baiting them to try to hit you with a skill shot by staying in lane with like 400 or 500 health, probably not the best decision. So Cat's gonna go do something really stupid soon. This Cat's really bad. You do get the turret though. That's really good. So I get double team top. So we know 2 of them are top. We know Vayne was last seen bot. Definitely the first thing you do is walk bot, which is you start doing that. That's really cool. You walk the safe way. I like that. Cat's doing really stupid stuff. She died, so you know they're all top. You know they're all mid top right now, so you can just kind of push this out. Ain't no problem. There you go. You back. It's cool. Wukong's heading bot, so he's wasting his time there. We're almost killing top right now. We're gonna ignore that. Wukong's mid. Top was too low to do anything. We're gonna push for top turret. So everybody rotates top. This is very cool. This is good stuff. But then we're gonna get some hairy stuff. So get hit by that. I'm trying to peel for you here, but you get hit with another binding and just get deleted off the face of the earth, which is very unfortunate. So let's see how this bind hit you. So let's see. You actually didn't get hit by a bind, but you walked directly back into Lux ult, so that was kind of unfortunate there. And then Vayne just one-shots you. This Cat's really useless, unfortunately. If she gets... No, she doesn't even get that. Wow. She actually didn't even get that kill. So this Cat's pretty... making life pretty difficult for us, to be honest. So we rotate top. So Vayne messes up, you kill her. Pretty much like most of the stuff we already went through in terms of questionable decision making, but a lot of it seems to be just you missed one back timing, which was unfortunate, and then it's just a lot of positional errors. So we see them all bot, so we all rotate bot. It's fine. Go ahead. We're gonna push this. Can't chase them, blah blah blah, it's whatever. So soon there's going to be something kind of weird that happens, and kind of questionable. So Right here we're about to see it. So this is just another positional. I'm not sure if it's just like an awareness issue or if it's something real specific, but we see Trundle. Trundle's walking into this brush. Trundle's a big boy. You can't fight Trundle. If I'm not on Trundle, you can't do anything. You physically can't. You have two items. He's just gonna walk through you. Lux follows him into this brush. You still don't have blue trinket, so we have no vision of this brush. My blue trinket's down. Everybody else's blue trinket is down. So you guys walk straight towards this brush. You just saw two people walk into it. Two people, both of them that can one-shot you. You walk directly at Trundle. Now we see Lux. Lux turns right around because you walk directly into Trundle. So, one, I think walking up towards this brush in the first place was kind of a mistake since you saw two people that can one-shot you walk directly towards it. But also, right here, when you start getting caught, I would say run this way and hope that Morg hits this binding and CCs him and you can get away with your flash. But instead, you kind of go right in a straight line, and then Lux literally just E ults and kills all of you. So you all just funneled into a line and let Lux just ult all three of you. And at this point, we still had a lead, we still had hope, and then four of you just walked directly into Trundle and Lux and Trundle essentially just 2v4'd you guys. So at this point, this game's pretty much over. We can't win from this point now. There is no winning, unfortunately. It'd be a very difficult thing to do. So let's see. We're gonna see. So Lux is definitely there, and you never actually saw Nami and Vayne back. So as far as you know, three people potentially could be here. You saw Wukong walk up. You knew Trundle wasn't there. Possibly three people are there. So if three people are gonna camp something, they're going to camp out here, obviously, and try to just one-shot you. So this is like, I guess this is pretty much the last thing, because a lot of these things seem kind of nitpicky. My biggest gripe is the back timing in lane. I think you could have pressured lane so much harder if you backed. That's honestly my only big gripe outside of positional errors and just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If there's three people in this brush, you'd want to be over on this side. Because even if Vayne runs at you from here, you can get in this brush. She's probably not going to ward it instantly, and you could flash it. So if you did get condemned against the wall, you'd be all the way back here. She would have to dive you under turret. There's potentially you could turn that. But here we go. We're just gonna have you're gonna walk up. And I know I even remember you said it. You said, "Oh, I didn't think the bind could hit me from that far." But yeah, so if Lux is standing right here, that's like the range of her bind. So I would say playing over here and being near this brush is probably the safest, but honestly, this guy just being in the brush like that is kind of a dick move. I mean, it worked out. He's super fed and he one-shot you. And Vayne was walking up like she was going to try to fight you anyway. But if Vayne had to initiate and you weren't close enough to get like hit by that Lux stuff, you could have potentially netted and flashed and been all the way back here. Just like a little positional thing. But honestly, a lot of this game, I don't think you made too many mistakes. I think you tunneled a little too hard for the turret, which is unfortunate. And then you also missed a really big back timing, which the back timing, honestly, I think is the biggest point. If you could take anything away from this game, is you were pressuring your lane and you thought, I'll just stay here and keep pressuring, when you could have just backed and been 10 times stronger, come back to lane, and pressured even harder. But instead, you kind of just rested on the fact that you were already pressuring. You didn't extend your lead. And that's a big way you can extend a lead on a lane, is by backing, getting the first back for free. You had a free back there. You pushed it in on a cannon wave. Vayne Nami, they're not going to push it back. They're not going to deny you anything. You could have gotten a free back there. I think that this was the biggest missed opportunity in the entire game, not backing here. Because let's say you backed right when Morgana did, you would have been back already. You would have bought your BF sword, and then Morgana would have ran down. By the time they push this, look how slow this Vayne pushes. She'd have to push a whole another wave. Even if you weren't contesting this wave, it would have been right here. It would have just been hitting your turret. You wouldn't have gotten denied anything. They wouldn't have denied you virtually anything, but you would have been able to cash in on this huge lead you have. But you didn't cash in on it, so unfortunately, that means you can't effectively snowball your lead because you didn't cash in on it when you could. So I think that's definitely the biggest issue I have with this game because I think from your position and with the lead we ended up having mid game, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to out carry a Vayne you're crapping on, but you missed a distinct opportunity to get an even bigger lead. And I think that's the big thing. Aside from all the positional errors and the fact that Morgana was just like AFK bot leaving you, which makes me think she's not a support main, um, and like trying to push bot on her own and not helping you. That's more of like a solo lane player or a jungler, like who wants to get their own farm and get XP on their own. Um, but I think outside of that, there were definitely a lot of opportunities. This being the biggest one. This back timing. When you should have backed at 6 minutes, got your BF sword. Even if you just got a pickaxe and a dagger or boots, you would have been infinitely stronger than this Vayne, and you would have been able to get this turret. This turret you wanted so bad, you would have gotten it. Hitting it with a 77 auto Kate a bunch of times isn't going to help. But if you go back and you get an extra 40 AD or 45 AD from a BF sword, you're going to take that turret. It's going to die. Like, um, yeah, that's just my big gripe with this. Especially since you're support backed, you should just back with her. You know, could have gotten a huge lead, but I think you were just typing there that heal. But yeah, I definitely just think you had ample opportunity to win this lane harder. Like this CS lead means nothing when Vayne's a hyper carry, but chunking her out, getting a BF sword, forcing her to stay in lane because you have a BF sword on her, getting her turret first, and denying her this much CS and possibly killing her is like a big thing. That's a big thing. That would help a lot. And then the only other thing that I thought was really, other than getting caught out a lot mid, was tunneling so hard for the Nami kill that you get, knowing that their jungler's coming down, and then trading kills, like you getting a kill and Vayne getting a kill on you is just like, oof. That's not a that's not a good one. That's not a good place to be in. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. I don't think there were that many things this game, but I honestly think that the back timing and the tunneling on Nami, outside of all the positional errors you had mid to late game, definitely were the biggest things that impacted your growth in the game. Like your ability to carry the early game and snowball a lead rested purely on those two things. Not backing when you could have to get an item advantage and being able to pressure your lane twice as hard as you would otherwise, and also tunneling on the Nami. That's what I think. So between those, because you just have to think anytime you have a CS lead, if you don't back and you don't get an item advantage, your CS lead means nothing until you back. So if I'm up 50 CS but I haven't backed and my laner and I are both on Doran's blades, not really that much stronger than him. If he's still getting XP, we're probably equally as strong as each other. Uh, but if I buy and I use my advantage and I have an item lead on him because he's weaker than me, then you're in a great spot. So just remember that for the future. I think uh, I'd love to get your thoughts on why you didn't back at that time, like what you were thinking. But I definitely think that was a pretty big mistake in terms of impact in game. But hopefully it helps a little bit. Like I said, I don't think there is as much as like when I do a Devo analysis. There's like a lot of lane and phase stuff, but that back timing is definitely one that I think was a sloppy one. So anyway,